What's going on, you guys? I'm as always Mr. Grimreaper from 2. Welcome everybody to my channel, and it's time to knuckle up once again. This is another episode of Film Fights. Now, of course, you guys know Film Fights is a segment on my channel where me and Dark Knight 987 are going to, well, debate each other on which movies, on whether or not the original movie was good or its remake was good. And today, I think me and him are probably going to be agreeable in this movie for this, because today we're going to review we're going to review the 1995 film Judge Dredd, and we're also going to review its remake, Dredd. So we're going to base this on story. We're going to base this on who was the best Judge Dredd, Carl Urban or Sylvester Stallone. We're going to base this on a number of things. But, of course, you know, the 1995 version was directed by Danny Cannon. And the 2012 version was directed by Pete Travis. The cast for the 95 version was Sylvester Stallone, Armand Assante, Diane Lane, Rob Schneider, Joan Chen, Jurgen Prochnow, and Max von Sydow. And the 2012 version has Carl Urban, Olivia Thirlby, Wood Harris, and Lena Headey. You know her better as Cersei on Game of Thrones. So we're going to talk about, we're going to go into the plots of the 1995 film, and we're going to talk about and then after that we'll get into the plot of the 2012 film, and see which one was better, and I got a lot to say about people that said that the 95 one sucked. Yeah. Because the 95 one was better than this. Miles ahead better than this. That's my opinion. But let's take a look. Let's dig into the 1985 version first, and talk about the 1985 classic film Judge Dredd. So here we go. By the 2080s, much of Earth has become an uninhabitable wasteland, while some humans manage to survive in the barren, cursed Earth. The majority of humanity resides in huge megacities with populations of tens of millions. Excuse me. Thank you. To combat crime, the traditional justice system has been replaced by a corps of judges, whose role combines those of police officer, judge, jury, and executioner. In Megacity 1, 2039, Joseph Dredd, played by the legendary Sylvester Stallone, one of the most dedicated, thank you, street judges. I don't know what the fuck is going on with me today. Assists first-year Judge Hershey, played by Diane Lane. And ending a black war. Herman Fergie Ferguson, played by Rob Schneider, a hacker recently released from prison, is caught in the firefight and hides inside a food dispensing robot. Dredd arrests Herman for destruction of property and sentences him to 5 years imprisonment. Rico, a former judge, played by Armand Assante, a former judge, escapes from prison with the help of Judge Griffin. He returns to Mega City 1 and reclaims his uniform and lawgiver gun. He also finds and reactivates a decommissioned ABC Warrior combat robot, which scares the piss out of me. That robot still scares the hell out of me. Hammond, a news reporter critical of Dredd, is murdered, and he becomes the chief suspect. Dredd is taken to a trial before a tribunal of council judges, including Griffin and Chief Justice Fargo, his mentor, played by Max von Sydow. Dredd is found guilty as his DNA is found on the bullets used to kill Hammond. A feature of the lawgiver is imprinting the user's DNA on each bullet, a fact apparently unknown by most judges. We'll get to that later. We'll get to why that's stupid here in a minute. To save Dredd, Fargo steps down as Chief Justice, and for his last request asks the council to spare Dredd's life. Dredd is sentenced to life imprisonment while Fargo embarks on the Long Walk, in which a retiring judge ventures into the wasteland to bring law to the lawless. Griffin, who freed Rico to frame Dredd for the murder, becomes Chief Justice and instructs Rico to cause chaos in the city, which he does. Dredd is taken to the Aspen penal colony via airship, where he sits next to Herman. En route, the ship is shot down by the Angel Gang. Oh, these guys. A family of cannibalistic scavengers and bandits. They bring Dredd and Herman back to their cave. A squad of judges investigate the crashed ship and get to the cave. Intent on killing any survivors, not rescuing them. Fargo arrives in time to save Dredd's life, but is mortally wounded by Mean Machine Angel. A identical DNA. Oh, wait. Oh, a dying Fargo.
There's some of these in the microwave.
Okay. Where am I? Oh, a dying Fargo reveals that Dredd and Rico are the result of the Janus Project, which we'll talk about later. An experiment in genetic engineering intended to create the perfect judge. Dredd deduces Rico framed him for the reporter's murder using their identical DNA. No shit. Of course he did. Believing Griffin is trying to reactivate the Janus Project, Fargo urges Dredd to stop him. In Mega City 1, Rico terrorizes the city and assassinates judges in various ways. Griffin uses the situation to convince the council judges to unlock the Janus files. He plans to create an army of judges from his DNA. After the council judges unlock the file, Griffin has them killed. Dredd and Herman sneak back into the city and meet with Hershey, who also had discovered the Janus Project by herself. They go to the Statue of Liberty, where the Janus laboratories are. They encounter the ABC warrior, which wounds Herman and captures Dredd and Hershey. Rico uses his own DNA as template for the Janus clones, then commands the ABC warrior to kill Griffin. Herman, despite his wounds, disables the ABC warrior as Dredd fights Rico. While Hershey fights his assistant, Dr. Ilsa Hayden, Rico activates his clones prematurely, but they fail to stop Dredd. And the swift clone activation ends up destroying the Janus laboratory. Dredd pursues Rico to the top of the Statue of Liberty, and a final struggle sends Rico falling to his death. Central, the city's controlling supercomputer, has recorded the entire event and broadcast the information, clearing Dredd's name. The remaining judges ask him to become the new Chief Justice, but he refuses, preferring to remain a street judge, thus ending Judge Dredd. Yeah, so, okay. So there was a lot of stuff. Okay, let's talk about the Janus project, shall we? Real quick, before we get into the 2012 remake. Of course, it was frickin' Rico that killed Hammond. No duh. Of course it was because remember what they said in the movie is that him. Remember what Fargo said to Dredd in the movie. He said that they both have the same DNA. which makes Rico Dredd's brother. You know what I mean? So, no shit. You know what I mean? And that's the only problem that I have with the movie. That's the only problem that I have with Judge Dredd is that they could have found out sooner.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But oh well.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
What did you think about that, by the way, before we go to the next thing?
Well, you know, in my opinion is, you hate when people get framed for murder because it makes the bad guy think we get away with it, you know?
Yeah.
And I hate when somebody's framed because they know that real person is evil and they're doing things they're not supposed to be doing, and they framed a good person, you know, and that's what was in Dredd's case, you know what I'm saying? And you said, Grim said it himself, you know, they've had the same DNA, had to be brothers. Like, he's like his own, kind of his own flesh and blood, really. You know what I'm saying? That's,
Alright, so we're going to talk about the 2012 version. As I said before, it was directed by Pete Travis. And it stars Carl Urban, Olivia Thirlby, Woody Harris, and Lena Headey, and stuff like that. So we're going to get into it, talk about it, and see why this fails as a remake, and why people are wrong when they said, "Oh, this was the greatest remake ever." Yeah, sure. Okay, so the movie starts out, the future United States is a dystopic, irradiated wasteland known as the Cursed Earth. No shit. On the East Coast lies Mecca City 1. Duh. A violent metropolis with 800 residents and 17,000 serious crimes reported daily. The force for order are the judges, who act as judge, jury, and executioner. Judge Dredd, played this time by Carl Urban, is tasked by the chief judge with evaluating new recruit Cassandra Anderson, a powerful psychic who marginally failed the aptitude test to become a judge. In Peachtree's, a 200-story slum tower block, drug lord Madeline Madrigal, also known as Mama, I don't want to even... executes 3 rogue drug dealers by having them skinned alive. Yeah. Infused with slow-mo, an addictive new drug which reduces the user's perception of time to 1% of normal, and thrown down the atrium from the top floor. Dredd and Anderson are sent in to investigate and learn of a drug den, which they raid. They arrest a thug named K, whom Anderson's mind probe reveals to be the one who carried out the drug dealer's executions. Dredd decides to take him in for questioning. In response, Mama's forces seize the tower security control room and seal the building, using its blast shields under the pretense of a security test to prevent the judges from leaving a summoning help. Mama orders Dredd and Anderson killed, forcing the judges to fight their way through dozens of armed thugs. Arriving at the 76th floor, the judges are assaulted by Mama, which is a dumb name, by the way, and her men with rotary cannons that rip through the walls. Killing numerous residents, the judges breach an outer wall and call for backup. Meanwhile, Mama sends her henchman Caleb to search for the judges. When they meet, Dredd throws Caleb off the tower in a full view of Mama. Oh, I'm sorry I'm laughing at that. I'm just remembering that dude screaming all the way down. Dredd suspects Mama is desperate to keep Kay quiet and beats him for information. Anderson reads Kay's mind and learns that Peachtree's is the center of slow-mo production and distribution. Anderson just suggests they hide while awaiting assistance, but Dredd insists They move up the tower and pursue Mama, which Judges Volt and Guthrie, whatever the fuck his name is, respond to Dredd's call, but Mama's computer expert denies them entry by persuading them the security system is malfunctioning. A pair of armed teens confront Dredd and Anderson, allowing Kay to disarm and overpower Anderson. Kay then escapes with her as hostage and takes her to Mama's base on the top floor. While Dredd works his way towards Mama, she calls in the corrupt judges Lex Kaplan, Chan, and Alvarez. The four relieve Volt and Guthrie from duty and are allowed to the building. Dredd encounters Chan and is suspicious that he does not ask about Anderson's status. Seeing his cover blown, Chan attacks Dredd, but is killed. Meanwhile, Kay tries to execute Anderson with her own weapon, but the pistol's DNA scanner does not recognize him and explodes, taking his arm off. She escapes and later encounters Kaplan, whom she promptly kills after reading her mind. Elsewhere, Dredd kills Alvarez but runs out of ammunition. He subsequently shot and injured by Lex, but Dredd stalls him long enough for Anderson to arrive and kill Lex. Anderson and Dredd obtain the code to Mama's apartment from her computer expert and confront her. Mama, well, I'm going to call her Madeline. That's what her name is. I'm going to call her Maddie, tells Dredd that in the case of her death, a device on her wrist will detonate explosives on the top floor, destroying the building. Dredd reasons that the detonator signal will not reach the explosives from the ground floor, so he forces Mama, Madeline, to inhale slow-mo and throws her down the atrium to her death. In the aftermath, Anderson accepts that she has failed her evaluation by getting disarmed and leaves. The chief judge asks Dredd about Anderson's performance. He responds that she has passed, thus ending one of the dumbest freaking movies I've ever seen in my entire life. This bullshit, this freaking bullshit remake. So, we got a lot to talk about, shall we? Okay, let's talk about the best Judge Dredd. Hands down, my opinion, hands down to Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah.
I like him better than Carl Urban. At least Sylvester Stallone brought character to the to Judge Dredd instead of Carl Urban. I don't think I think Carl Urban is a good actor, but I don't think this was the part for him. So I don't care what people say that Carl Urban was the best Dredd. Yeah, no. Sylvester Stallone was the best Dredd, hands down. While I do have problems with Judge Dredd, with the first Judge Dredd, I do have some problems, not all. I got a lot of problems with this piece of shit movie. First of all, they're doing something that we've already seen before. Basically, Dredd is basically trying to fight to get to the top of this building, which we've seen before. There's a movie called The Raid Redemption, where there's another character where a bunch of cops are trying to get up to the top floor. You know what I mean? So basically, they're bringing it from that. So he has. I'll give Dredd this. It has a lot of good moments. It has some good moments. The rest are just completely dumb. I would say Rico. If I could pick, if if I could pick the best villain out of this, either Madeline or Mama, as you call her, and freaking Rico, I have to pick Rico because not because I don't want to hear this Me Too crap or this feminist crap that I'm picking a man over a woman. No, that's bullshit. I think Rico was the better villain, even though he's kind of overreacting a little bit and all that. I think Rico was the better villain. Mama, or Madeline, or whatever the fuck you want to call her, had that villain quality to her, but it was lost somewhere in the shuffle. You know what I mean? So I think that was complete bullshit. This movie got rid of the comedy. This movie got rid of some of the comedy that was in the first movie. I liked Rob Schneider's character, Fergie. But it got rid of that. They wanted to go completely serious, which I think they failed at. And there was a couple of years ago, me and Knight and another dude that we once called friend, you know him better as Captain Harlock. We call him RJ. We had this show called Jack Off TV, and in one of the episodes that we talked about shit remakes. This was one of them. I remember getting this movie on DVD, watching it. It didn't even seem like it. It says the running time was 95 minutes, which is bullshit because it didn't even seem that way. It seemed more like a 30-minute romp, a 30-minute action fest. You know what I mean? Like it didn't even seem like a long movie. You know what I mean? And I told them about it. I told Knight, and I told Harlock about it. And you know, I have a problem with remakes. I have, especially this one. They tried. I give them credit. The action scenes were good. Everything was good. That scene when when he throws Caleb down from the tower is hilarious because the way he was screaming all the way down and stuff like that. But I have a problem with this movie. I don't like it one bit. I don't care what anybody else says. I think Dredd was complete bullshit. And yeah, and I like the 95 version better because it had a lot more action to it. There was comedy to it. There was drama to it. It was a lot better than this shit fest. You know what I mean? So, but what do you think, man?
I've never seen the remake, and I want to say to Grim's point about remakes, I agree because I don't like remakes. I always stick to the originals because I grew up on the originals. I grew up on the classic versions of the films. Now, I know people say this, well, that may be your opinion. You didn't grow up in the 90s, doesn't mean Grim has. We have seen the original movies, and they are 100 times more
I don't care what you say about the 95 movie. I don't care what you say about the damn 95 movie. At least it had comedy to it. At least it had action to it. At least it had drama to it. It was a lot better than this crap piece of shit. And I gotta say that this movie is complete bullshit. I don't care. I don't care what other people. I don't care what people say. Dredd, Carl Urban. While I give him credit for trying to play Judge Dredd, was not the best Judge Dredd. It was Sylvester Stallone.
Exactly.
Sylvester Stallone brought more character to that freaking to Judge Dredd than Carl Urban did. I think that, in my personal opinion, I think Dredd was a slap in the face.
It was.
You know what I mean?
Big
So,
time. Yeah, big time.
the 95 movie was better than this. So, and I give the 95 movie a 10 out of 10. And I give that shit remake a 3 out of 10. Because Judge Dredd wins this film fight. Of course he's going to win it. The 95 film wins this round. You know what I mean? For best movie. And I think, because I don't care what you say, Dredd was not a good movie.
It was not.
The 2012 remake was not a good movie. Judge Dredd was.
It was not. Yeah, the 95. Always go with the classic. I don't like remakes myself, like I said, and sometimes they change the story from the original too. It goes a different direction than the original. So yeah, I hate remakes.
Yeah.
That's our opinion. We're not fans of the remakes. Y'all out there maybe, but we're not. And this is our opinion. We're going to stick to the classics.
Yeah.
You can't top classics. That's
but if you guys have a problem with it, let us know why. Let us know why you think the 95 film Judge Dredd sucked.
Yeah.
But, and if you agree with us, let us know in the comments and stuff like that. But that's going to be it for me. I'm Mr. Grimreaper 2 with Dark Knight 97. Probably the next time we do this will probably be I have no idea. I have no idea what other remakes we can do.
We're gonna work on that.
Yeah, we'll work on it.
So.
Maybe Lion King. I'm probably gonna wait till he sees the 2019 version.
Yeah, that's my plan.
And
do that.
And then we can talk about the Lion King. We can talk about the 95. What was it? The 94 version. Yeah, the 95 version of the Lion King and the 2019 version. Oh, I got a lot of shit to say about that.
Definitely.
But yeah, let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think about this episode of Film Fights. I'm Mr. Grimreaper 2 with Dark Knight 97. We'll see you on the Afterlife. Peace.